Hey all, it's May 25th, and we're a couple short hours away from the third beta test for My Hero Ultra Rumble. Now, before you jump into the game, I wanted to put together a quick guide with tips on how you can rise to be the number one hero. The first thing you're going to do is choosing your character. Now, obviously, you should pick your favorite. If you're a Toga stan, I'm not going to tell you not to main her, but I would encourage you to try them all at some point so you can get familiar with what each character can do, learn to account for all their skills and abilities when you go head to head against them. It'll be helpful. But this is a 3v3 game, and you should consider building a team which works well with your allies. One thing that you'll notice is that each hero falls into one of 5 class archetypes, each one associated with a color. For example, Deku, All Might, and Mount Lady are all considered the Assault class, kind of a tank bruiser hybrid, and their power-up cards are all yellow. It's a good idea to diversify your team so that you aren't competing against your own squad for the same power-ups. Once you've chosen your hero and you're in the game, you'll notice that each hero has 3 skills which they can level up using character cards that match their color. And they can also pick up wild cards which are rainbow colored and usable by any hero. It's important to know that you can use other heroes' character cards to level up as long as they match your color. I can't tell you how many Dekus I've seen just run past the All Might cards because they didn't know any better. The only reason you wouldn't want to pick those up is if you have another yellow hero on your team and you're trying to save them for them. The character cards are all labeled A, B, and Y, and they correspond with one of your 3 skills. But the wild cards can be applied towards any skill that you like. It's worth noting that if you do happen upon a card that matches your character, you'll gain 2 level ups instead of 1, but in general you'll want to be picking up all of the cards that match with your color. If you don't pick them up, you can bet your enemy will. Speaking of teamwork, the next thing I want to emphasize is to stay with your team. Make sure that you all select the same zone when you spawn in, explore that zone together, pick it clean of power-ups before moving on. I'm not saying that you should all hold hands and be joined to the hip either. It's definitely more efficient to have the team split off in several directions, grab as many items as they can, especially in the early game. Just make sure that you're close enough that you can come to help each other out if you get jumped by another team. While you're running around looking for items, it is important to communicate with your team. A lot of new players won't find this right away, but there is a menu for pinging different alerts, and you can call out a squad of enemies that you see nearby, and you can also ping nearby useful items that you find. If I'm playing as a Deku and I come across a red card from my Bakugo ally, I can highlight this card and ping it on the map so that he can come over and grab the power up. You can also pick up the card and bring it to your ally, but I don't recommend trying this out until you're more adept at using the menu. I think new players are going to spend a lot of time getting the whole squad together and navigating out how to trade, and while everyone is standing still for a minute or two, it's going to be an easy time for the enemy team to just lay down an AoE and blow you all up. My final tip for this video is to fight when you're strong and run when you're weak. It's a pretty basic no-brainer idea, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do this. If you've ever gotten coaching in a MOBA, you've likely been told to play around your cooldowns. You go in, you drop all your spells, and then you get out of the fight, get to safety while you wait for them to recharge. Keep yourself healthy, wait for your cooldowns to come back online, then you rinse and repeat. The same principle applies here. Ultra Rumble can get very chaotic, with 24 players and multiple teams fighting it out at a time. So if you're low on health, or you get outnumbered, lots of heroes have good tools for escape. Run away, hope that your opponents get pulled into a fight with another team, and replenish your shields inside a building or a bush. Now, I don't encourage running and hiding and camping the entire time. I think that's boring for you and everyone involved, and eventually the damage field will force everyone into a fight, and you'll be going up against a team that has spent time battling and leveling up their abilities, and they'll be much higher than yours are, and the odds are usually going to favor them in that final confrontation. So pick and choose your battles wisely, but know that you can't run forever and you will eventually have to fight. If you and your team max out all of your abilities early, I definitely encourage you to be proactive in picking fights with other players. In this instance, you've leveled your characters up as much as they can possibly be. It's now impossible for you to get any stronger, but every minute that goes by, other players are closing that power gap. In this situation, you should not be hiding and biding your time.
隙は伺うもんじゃねえ。動いて作るんだ。
Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting like and subscribe. I'm going to be live streaming throughout the beta, and I'll be following up with some character guides and advanced strategy videos for the different heroes and villains that you can play. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.